get started. Does anyone want to get out?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of the Friday Night Frenzy, where everything is canon. And the topics, they are more
guidelines than actual rules.
I actually did it this time. I actually got it right. For once, I actually got it right. All right, let's go through this. Keely, how you doing? Chris Fisk, who's this asshole? But
I don't know, but quite a douche. I mean, sorry.
This is Jared's off week, so we have the off week crew here. First off, we have the writer of Eagles herself. How you doing?
I'm not dead.
That is a good thing. And next we have the master of ships herself, Nyx.
Howdy.
And last and certainly least, we have co-host extraordinaire, the man who knows 10,000 things, Chris.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. So we got some little bit of mini topics to go on, but let's get the big thing out of the way first. The thing that actually no, we'll hold that off till more people come in. But so yeah, this is now in the world. So earlier this week, Rockstar dropped the trailer for GTA 6. One that we've seen a lot of leaks for it. We kind of knew what was coming, and then they dropped it. So I'm not going to share my opinions right first, but I want to hear your guys. So we're going to kind of go around, see your guys' thoughts about the GTA 6 trailer. Do you think it's cool? Do you think it's bad? Do you not care? Let's start with ladies first. Eagle Rider, what do you think?
Well, from what I've seen of the clips, it looks pretty par of the course for Grand Theft Auto and violence. And the people that are all like up in arms about it, it's like, you're the same people who've been up in arms about Grand Theft Auto for like over 20 years. Get a life. I mean,
exactly. I'm sure you saw the Newsmax clip, which someone's like commented that it was probably paid off. Knowing the history of Grand Theft Auto, I would not be surprised if Take-Two actually paid them to do that segment, because it just reeks of just. I mean, don't get me wrong. These type of people are so cliche. I could totally see that segment. It's not 2008 anymore, guys.
No more Jack Thompson.
well,
Yeah, he's been disbarred.
Is somebody, and again, I'm not going to use names for obvious reasons, but kind of made a name for himself with the conservative and CG and fandom communities as this commentator on Twitter who's sitting there doing all this stuff, going, it's so violent, I can't believe Cyberpunk and Grand Theft Auto, all this stuff. That's why I didn't finish Grand Theft Auto. I refused to kill cops and stuff. And he got community noted with people citing over 200 articles he wrote on playing Grand Theft Auto 5, including on virtual killing a cop and stuff.
Oh, you mean the guy got community noted on his own website?
No, actually, but it was one of his suck-ups.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Elon Musk who said that. You know.
I won't say the full name. Ian.
I think
Malaysian.
Yep, you got it.
Elon kilometers.
Yep, you got it.
Yeah, he got community noted that there's 238 articles on the gameplay of the game, and he tried to claim he never played it through because he didn't want to kill cops.
Internet remembers all.
Yep.
Liar,
all right.
Sack of crap. I mean,
exactly.
Pizza time.
I just wanted to play the clip. So Nyx, what did you think?
Oh, I don't really care much for Grand Theft Auto. I mean, I never really got into it. But, like, it's the same as it's always been, like Eagle Rider said. And everyone making a big deal out of it. Like, oh no.
these are the people who protested Dungeons and Dragons because it was satanic. Come on.
But they're trying to claim that this is a kid's game. It very clearly says rated M for mature.
You see this M? That's M for
That doesn't mean
mature.
for minors. It means for mature, you dumb.
Yeah, it says 17 plus under the M.
Thank you, Eagle.
Like,
I
yeah,
know,
sure, there are going to be parents who buy their children this game, but that's
I've
on the
known some-
parents,
I've
not
known
on the
some
company.
I've known some even back in college. I knew some who let their kids play it. But guess what? That was between the kids and the parents. It's nobody else's business.
Yeah, like if a parent wants to buy GTA for their child, whatever, but don't buy it for the child and complain like, "Why did you sell me this kids game? It's so right." Like, it's for the only way the kid could have it if you buy it. So, parent, you done effed up.
I remember because I have a brother who's worked in different places with video game sales and managing video game stores and stuff for like 30 years almost. And
Oh, wow.
I remember him dealing with this. There's the parents who, okay, every little thing, they're ticked if you sell it to their kid without them being there. And then there's the parents who come in and scream at him because he won't sell M-rated games to their 13 and 14-year-old kids without an adult.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to. Like, there's no
It's
legal
like,
enforcement. for
Like,
it.
yeah, like
Psychos.
literally, like it's the same thing. It's literally treated
Mhm.
like selling alcohol or cigarettes to a
Yeah,
minor.
they
Like,
can get in legal trouble for selling it to a minor unless a parent is there to authorize it.
Well,
It's like going into a rated R movie.
Well, technically, they're not, and that's kind of the like. So video
It depends
games
on the
is
state, actually.
well, no, well, as
There
somebody
are
that worked in the
rates in some
industry and worked with the ESRB, it's not a federally regulated.
That's why I
commission
said
like
it's
the
not
motion
federally,
picture.
it's state. There are states
Well,
that have regulations on it.
some
well,
states have it, some states don't. Okay, let's move on.
I don't know any of that do, but
Yeah.
like, so basically, what happened was a bunch of bored housewives of politicians back in the 90s got their panties in a wad over Night Trap and Mortal Kombat, the original.
Oh, I mean that's
Oh,
the
God.
fact that I mean, to be fair, we
I
even have
even
that stuff.
remember people
Okay.
protesting Street Fighter.
No, well, here's
Seriously.
a dirty little secret. Whenever there's a new media, they're always gonna hate it and blame it. Like literally in the early 1900s, ragtime was the greatest still. Then it was movies. Then it was TV, comic books, and video games for some reason. Like I think because the new medium has like caught really on yet. But look in the 80s, when they were holding all those congressional hearings about like heavy metal music, like even though Dee Snider has kind of cut out now, I still like watching his
Yeah,
congressional
That's
testimony
epic.
where he literally insinuated that Al Gore's wife was into BDSM. Oh my God! You could just see Al Gore's
Jeez.
bulge,
Well,
face bulge.
I mean, what's
So-
wrong with that, anyways? But here's the thing: is people
Can-
forget when they do this. Every little type of media, every little type of entertainment has to be protested, like it's the new great evil. They do realize that what they call classical and educational now, the classical musicians like Mozart and Beethoven were considered punks and degenerates in their time.
Hmm. Well,
My favorite thing is, I don't know if it was Beethoven or Mozart. I think it's Mozart. This is like a Mozart thing to do. Is there was one of his choir people when he did a higher note, she went like this. So he literally created a song with high note, so she would bob her head down like a chicken.
jiggle,
Like,
jiggle.
that is like so metal. Like I'm sorry, that is metal as frick.
Well, there's a reason that the whole symphonic, operatic, and speed and symphonic metal have become what they have, because metal has its roots in classical. It always has, because classical was the punk of that era,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Well,
and people forget that.
to get back to the why we have the ratings thing in games like that whole bored housewives thing and stuff, the government was more than happy. They were salivating at doing what they
Joseph
did to
Lieberman.
yeah, well, dude, Lieberman, like there were so many of these scumbags. They jumped on and they wanted to do what they did with the MPAA, which is the Motion Pictures Association. Basically, they wanted to make a federally regulated rating system so that they could apply laws and they could fine companies and do all these other things. And the video game industry in general, like basically, I think it was like EA, Activision, like all of the big guys
All the ones
got
that
together
worked out since. I mean,
and they said, look, stay out of this crap government. We'll police ourselves. So they created the Entertainment Software's Ratings Board, or the
Yeah,
ESRB.
that's what
and
it should
then-
be.
and
It
then
should
there's
be
a-
self-policed, but it should be done.
So, well,
And
so
then,
so they
and then beyond that, there is the greater lobbying organization, the ESA.
Yeah. So the ESA was actually part of that entertainment
I know,
software.
yeah.
So they created this thing, and unfortunately, in other countries, they didn't have that level of freedom that we have. So over in the UK, for example, they have something called PEGI, and PEGI is government regulated. So you'll see whenever European games come out, it'd be like PEGI 18, and it's like, well, what the hell? So with that said, it really shows how freedom is not for stupid people. And unfortunately, we live in a country full of a lot of stupid people, because that ESRB, that self-regulated system, is not enforceable. They're like, shops will not get fined, people will not lose their jobs, companies will not, whatever. So like we had mentioned earlier about the mother who buys their 8-year-old kid, an M-rated game because she's either too lazy or too dumb to read. It says M-rated. Here we literally spell out the contents of this game: use of tobacco, use of drugs, excessive violence, sexual content. We spelled it out. Like, this thing was, again, this was an industry-wide thing. When we were releasing our games, we literally had to make a checklist. And if there was anything that this checklist didn't have, there was an other box and you had to fill it in. So we did all of this. We did all of the hard work for them. We put the nutrition label on the front of the box instead of the back. And yet parents still bought this. And sure, there are some parents out there that feel their 8-year-old is mature enough for sexual content and all that stuff. I don't care.
Buy it yourself.
Yeah, that's not my business. You can raise your kid however you want. It's not the state.
Yeah, it's like you had those kids where, my parents let me watch Nightmare on Elm Street at 6 years old, and like they turned out to be fully functioning adults. Like, yeah, and those are the same people where they can play GTA at 6 years old and they're fine.
But
my grandmother was always watching horror movies around me when I was like little toddler.
It's the same thing,
It
though.
me at all. Yeah. And Dad always watched mobster movies with me when I was little. I'd sit up his lap and watch mobster movies, and they're cussing and shooting each other. I mean,
yeah,
it wasn't a big deal to me.
With that said, though,
mythology, anyways, those are full of violence and gore. I mean,
yeah. With that said, though,
movies and sex on TV.
Well, with that said, though, the ESRB, because it wasn't enforceable, has given rise to the Jack Thompsons and the Leland Yees and all of these douchebags that are, again, going, see, your self-regulation isn't working because this terrible parent bought little Jimmy a freaking Grand Theft Auto and he jumped in a car and killed people, and now he's blaming the game on it. See, and they're like,
because
we have laws.
But here's the problem is, anyone with half a brain can look at the system in place and tell, okay, yeah, the parent is clear fault, but no self-respecting politician is going to say it's a parent's fault, because you know what parents do? They vote.
Exactly.
Because if you blame the parents, they're not going to vote for you. So a politician knows, saying, parents, take some self-responsibility. That is literally saying, don't vote for me.
Well,
let me go ahead. Sorry.
Well, it was just so frustrating working in that industry, and we were skating the lines of, because the highest selling, like, the ESRB turned into a marketing strategy as well. Oh, you don't want to release an M-rated game because it doesn't sell as much as a teen-rated game, all that stuff. So we had to compromise our product to coincide with the limitations of the ESRB ratings. And at the end of the day, it turns out the ESRB ratings were completely jack and squat. Nobody followed them, nobody cared, and they're not enforceable.
Like, for example, Halo. Halo is probably a T-rated game, like, especially by today's standards. Halo is T. Like it is very much, and not honestly not even a hard T rating. Like, it's like a mid-teen rating at best. You know what I'm saying?
If it shows blood stencils, it's M.
Well, as I was going to say, there's a few things I have as an example on this stuff. First of all, I use me and my brother as an example of it has to be the discretion of the parents because kids react to things differently. Nothing fazed me, nothing scared me. I read the goriest versions, the old versions of mythology and all that as a little kid. I saw horror movies around me constantly. I watched all the violence and stuff. Didn't faze me at all. Didn't affect me at all. Didn't change my personality or behaviors. My brother had nightmares for years from my grandma watching horror movies around him and still has freaking phobias based on that. And it depends on the person and their personality and how their brain adapts and learns. And that's why parents need to be the ones making these decisions. Now, I don't mind some ratings and stuff, but there's a balance line to it also. If you guys know what Just Label It movement is at all, it basically says government should be regulating which meds, which foods, which products can be on the market, but everyone should have to have full disclosure on anything they're selling. Just label exactly what you did and how you made it, what's in it, and
I
tell
disagree.
people the truth.
The problem is, like Chris said, people are stupid, and when it comes to like life, like the stuff matters of life and death, which includes like medication and food, sometimes the government does need to step in. Otherwise, the corporations would just do whatever. And video games and art are different because that is not matters of life and death.
There was a point I was actually making with it.
Okay,
I was using it as an example, but and yes, there's issues with that can be said and stuff like that. I do think we need that, honestly, because there's a lot of things that aren't disclosed on labels now that are allergens and toxins to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And that's a danger to certain things. But I understand that movement, even if I disagree with some of the aspects of it. Tell people the truth about what's in it and let them decide for themselves
All right.
to a degree. That's the same viewpoint I have towards entertainment. It's more so with entertainment, because that's less issues with medical and stuff like that. But let people know if there's strobes in it. Let people know why you give it the ratings you give it, and let people decide for themselves if they want to watch it. And that's it. You know?
All right. So thank you for that. So basically, just kind of quickly share like my thoughts on GTA. I think it looks great, honestly. It pretty much looks exactly as expected for like a next gen GTA. As far as the female protagonist, I honestly don't care because, well, she looks attractive. So that, and it's like, if you look at other people in the track, they're not doing the game dev bloat. If Chris knows, Chris gets what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
And like
the women that look like ugly British men that are all over in games now.
They're giving her actually a character. I'm actually kind of digging this Bonnie and Clyde kind of situation. But yeah, I just wanted to quickly do that because it's time to show it. All right. So, I picked some stuff up from the printer today.
Oh yeah.
Some stuff that you guys have been waiting for, and I'm gonna show it to you all and give you a update. All right.
Nice.
All right, let me just.
You next, Chuck.
Oh yeah, you guys. So here it is.
Woohoo!
Screecher issue 2, both versions of the regular one. We got the Krogan cover right here, and then we got the Neff cover right here, and it's right here. And then also we got in the prints by Irene, and dear God, she did an amazing job with these. So you got Kiro and Screecher. I'm actually considering to hire Irene for more work. Like, she might become the artist of Screecher.
Oh damn!
Screecher, just saying. You know, but that's a little bit off here. So yeah. So basically, at this point, I just would like to say,
Merry Christmas, buy my comic, right?
Hag Samaic. It's night 2.
Oh, Irene, you're actually here. Oh, see, look at how good this is, Irene. That's the one who did this. She did this. All right, I gotta give credit to the artist.
Hell yeah.
Greg Berlanti will not lay a finger on a Screecher. I'm saying that right now. And if Greg Berlanti does, like 5 years from now, quote this clip and embarrass me, please.
Oh, I like embarrassing you anyways. It's a deal.
Oh, well, yeah. But don't kink shame me, okay? But anyway.
I don't kink shame.
I am very happy to say, as far as Screecher number 2, it's done. All right. So all the items are either at RJ at Critical Blast Place, in transit to him, or they're in production. Okay. And so once all the items get to his place, we're gonna start sending things out in waves. So like we'll do like wave 1. So the aim is to have everything shipped out no later than like mid-February, or hopefully have it done a lot sooner. But I'm just kind of putting a cap on it, you know. So yeah, that's where Screecher is, and 2100 Samurai number 4 is already deep into production. The first 2 pages have been penciled, and we are well on our way.
Nice.
So yeah, just wanted to share
What you
that.
need is some extras that are done in that classic old style pencil colors. I wonder if you know somebody who can do those.
Does she ride eagles?
Maybe just a little bit.
We'll
Maybe
talk.
just a little bit.
We'll talk. Maybe I can get some classic pinup for you for the next thing. So yeah, just showing this off, and I am so happy. Like this came out so well. And so yeah, you guys are gonna have Screecher issue 2 here, and then issue 3 is gonna be next October. So just wait for that. It's gonna be so good. I cannot wait. So let's move on to our next mini topic. We have and Chris is going to be leading this one. So Chris, you know what's up. We have the Dorito Awards.
The Dorito Pope.
All right, Chris, you're on.
Yeah, man, that was like if you went in trying to be serious with that, like 3.5 hour long commercial for games. Like it was just a giant marketing
Super Bowl.
thing.
It's like the Super Bowl. Most people only watch it for the commercials.
Yeah, it was literally like the Super Bowl without the Super Bowl. It was just Super Bowl commercials, and like we were watching it, and it was like every ad that they had, which was every 5 seconds, it was just ad, was all vertical slices and pre-rendered cinematics and stuff for these like upcoming games and blah 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 blah. And it's like I don't care anymore. Like. I'm an abused puppy. Like I don't respond to the same crap over and over.
Yeah, like I was looking at like the IGN trailers they're posting, and it was all like no name games, and I know half of this shit isn't even gonna make it to market. Like it's just stuff that it's generic stuff that like whatever, and like most of the stuff isn't even gonna make it to market. It's like going to a car show. You see. You're fine. Sorry, she sent me a message in private chat that kind of gave me pause. Oh, and Parrothead.
Hi, Parrot.
Parrothead, you missed this. Yes, I'm going to be trotting this out like every 5 seconds or so because. But like
like a
what was I? What is this?
I mean,
what was it? Hey, Geek Detective, how you doing?
And again.
It's like every time someone shows up, I gotta.
Yeah.
But yeah,
anyways,
keep going, Chris.
Yeah, like the only thing that I found enjoyable out of that thing was like you guys got to understand that the award show was fake. Like it had nothing to do with the awards. It was all about marketing and advertisement for the new games. The awards was ancillary, and all those self-congratulatory douchebags that walked up on stage in their armor and all their stupid costumes and stuff. Like that was just all for show. Like they're all self-congratulatory wanktards. The people that actually worked on those games are still at their office busting ass or got laid off when the game launched. And all of those awards that won weren't because the game was actually voted for by people who bought the product. It was actually purchased. Like they're all bought and paid for. They were all backstage
so
deals.
What you're saying, it was all. So, is there any way we can come to an arrangement?
Yeah. Well, that's
can Last of Us win Game of the Year for the 5th year in a row?
I just need an award or 3. I just need an award or 3. Don't need awards.
It almost turned out
now we just jumped up 5 viewers. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, it almost felt like the more woke the game was, the more it was going to win. And I'm like, no, I don't think you understand. Like. These people purchased these awards. Like this is backstage dealings. This isn't like we held a poll for our customers, and this is what they voted for. And they may have held a poll. Doesn't matter. At the end of the day.
I bet somebody was holding polls.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Why? Get out of my head! Get out of my road! I was literally thinking that. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna say it. Literally a split second later. You say exactly what I was thinking. Get out of my head.
Well, the one thing that brought joy to my cold black heart was when I looked over on Twitter and I saw the people melting down over the fact that woke Spider-Man 2 was nominated 7 times and received 0 awards.
Apparently, Sony didn't want to pay enough.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was like, look, we already spent too much money on this crap. Nobody's playing the damn game. Like, did you see the sales fall off on that game after like the first week?
Well,
Like,
yeah,
bad word of mouth destroys games.
I think it's because Spider-Man 2 it doesn't really innovate as much as it should.
Well, that and it started pushing the message, according to the drunk critical drinker, and on top of that, it just all of the stuff that people disliked about the first game, they emphasized and embellished in the second game. Like, sorry, but when I'm buying or playing Spider-Man, I want to play Spider-Man. I don't want to play Mary Jane Watson. And they uglified
I
her.
don't want to
They
play
made
a
her
deaf
pumpy.
girl and
Oh, the
tag
ugly
buildings.
version.
Yeah.
Ugly. Why do they
Like-
have
like-
to do every freaking redhead so damn dirty?
Yeah, she's supposed to be a supermodel. I mean, in the comics, she was a model. Like, and they made her this like frumpy wine art.
We've had
You
I
know?
cats
don't
Come
mind.
on,
I don't
come
mind
on.
making her. I don't mind that they made her discount Lois Lane. I don't mind that. It kind of worked for like that first game because like they had a kind of a cool dynamic, and she was actually still kind of cute, to be honest. And
Yeah.
Laura Bailey voiced her, so I'll always give Laura give some extra points if you have Laura Bailey voice her. But
yeah.
Yeah, well, it was all about that whole game was all designed to get rid of Peter Parker so they could put in black what is it, Peter Darker? You know, they wanted to put in Miles Morales.
Peter
It's like,
Darker.
guys, just make Miles, like, here's the thing, there wouldn't be as much backlash, if probably any, if Miles Morales was just its own character. Like they had like Spin
Yes.
or whatever. Nobody would care. They're like, dude, this guy's cool. But instead they had to say, no, he's replacing the established
Rose,
white
check
male
Twitter.
character.
Check Twitter DMs.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't know. So we did have
You brat. You don't
Hey.
want to dare me, do you?
what?
You don't want to dare me, do you?
I dare you.
You want to dare me?
I daredevil you.
This is what redheads are good for: cleavage and mouthiness. Sorry.
No complaints there. No complaints there.
Anyway, look, I mean, I have a complaint going back to comics that existed even before I was born. I've always hated when they took an established character and did a knockoff version of it to create the minority or female characters. I was never a fan of things like She-Hulk and stuff like that because they weren't unique enough. They were too
Hey.
much a copy of something else. I
mean,
want
it's,
our own characters. I want uniqueness.
it's literally, hey, do you want Spider-Man? No, we have Spider-Man at home. Miles is not Spider-Man at home.
Mm.
I'm
At
all.
sorry, but why can't we just have characters that aren't a copy of some male character? And why can't minorities just have characters based on our own mythology and history? Why does it have to be copies of ones based on white lore and white mythology?
Well, you see, I'm slowly fixing that.
Yeah.
I'm
knew
sorry,
were
you
gonna
set me
do
up
this
for it. You set me
shameless
up for that.
promotion.
You were just begging for me to show this.
You want me to tell people that you're begging me to show
So-
and try.
So this is what I have to say to mainstream comics.
We are the future, Charles, not them. They no longer matter.
It's time for the new mythology to take hold. All right, so
I
we-
want these stories. I want our stories. There's so many untapped stories. There's no reason to be taking from somebody else.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
that's
I don't need like here's the thing. Spider-Man's cool. I love Spider-Man. But I don't need like 15 different
Yeah, I hate the
Spider-Man.
Spider-Verse.
know.
I hate the Spider-Verse. Oh my freaking god, can we
Same
kill the
here.
Spider-Verse?
Like one or two of them are kind of cooler. It's like 2099 is basically Spider-Man Beyond. Okay. Spider-Gwen, they actually made her different enough and have her own kind of thing. Like, okay, I like Spider-Gwen. She's cool. Basically, the only two I'd keep would be 2099, Gwen, and maybe Silk, but I don't know enough about her. So,
Well,
I mean,
yeah, Spider-Gwen started as the costume first. They're like, oh, that looks cool. And they're like, yeah, let's build a story around it. Like,
that was
I-
more like, hey, I bet you that character would be sexy as bleep.
well,
I
it's
mean,
like Marvel
every ethot on TikTok is parading around in her dye subsuit. So,
Exactly. But
I
like,
still want to do a Black Cat costume once.
I
I would love to see that.
it's sad because
I'd have to
Marvel
personally
lost-
inspect it for accuracy, but you know, it's all good.
I actually did do a drawing of Black Cat under Scott Campbell's challenge a couple of years ago that he actually was sharing and bragging up off. My brother has it now.
It's like you can do diversity in comics and have it work. Like, for example, here's the cover of Screecher 2. One is dark skin, the other is light skin. And you know what? It's not cringy or pandering because I create good stories. I'm sorry. I'm shilling my own boogie. This is my own stream, guys.
Look at it this way. You know, most everyone knows. Yeah, I look like this, and I'm mixed and mostly minority, but pale and albino, and pretty much everyone knows this. I want stories that reflect, but it's also they always talk about representation, people that look like you. It's like, well, you're trying to erase attractive women, you're trying to erase anybody with big butts, and you're trying to erase anyone redheaded or white. So apparently, only certain people get to feel something for the character on the screen in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sorry, growing up dealing with albino issues, dealing with being super pale compared to my family, my community, the people around me, everything, being targeted on both sides for not fitting, for not belonging.
Oh, geez.
People like Ariel, people like Snow White and stuff meant something to me. People like Mary Jane meant something to me because it was people pale as hell with red hair like me, or pale as hell. And I could actually understand them because they still were written in a way that they would be understandable to different cultures and different people.
I say we've had enough complaining. Let's have some fun. Okay, we had another
representation.
I mean, yeah, those are always welcome. But let's skip that last topic. I kind of don't want to do that one anyway. So let's just go straight into the main topic here: Christmas nostalgia. So what I'm talking about this is what I love how like I did that. I instantly lost 2 viewers, but you know it's okay. It comes and goes. But Christmas nostalgia is like, what is it that like hooks us? Because like I feel like there's nostalgia, and then there's Christmas nostalgia, which is on its a whole nother level. Okay, and to me, there's something that like there's nothing more nostalgic than the video I'm going to play. But somebody like talk while I bring it up, please.
Well, I was going to say, you want to talk about nostalgia. It's not just the things that were in entertainment and pop culture. I grew up with a lot of the comedy Christmas skits and songs and stuff from back when my parents were kids all the way through my teen years and stuff, new ones. And I loved all that comedy stuff. But when it came to nostalgia, it was the things that we did with each other that really aren't done with most people now. I grew up dirt poor. Things like going around to thrift stores and collecting scraps they can't resell from them and taking them apart and making blankets and stockings for people and making gifts and stuff. That mattered. That meant something. That was special.
Mm-hmm.
And
so,
how many people can do that anymore?
It's rough. But like honestly, like there is this one video I like to watch at this time of year that kind of brings me right back to my childhood. And we're gonna play this, and Chris can already feel the nostalgia right here. So
Jingle bells, Santa smells, Christmas really stunk. I got nothing that I like, my gifts were all just junk. Boxes full of clothes, CDs no one knows. When I wanted something for my Nintendo 64, Zelda's great, Turok 2, South Park would be fine. How about Rogue Squadron? That game should be mine.
Make up for a lame Christmas. Get the hits you missed on N64.
Mom and Dad, I'm so sad.
that is 100% pure unadulterated nostalgia right there. Show of hands, who actually remembers that commercial?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I don't much, but I didn't get to watch much TV.
But yeah, so
I
what?
don't know how
what
old
are
I
some...
was back then.
Yes, I'm showing my age here. So what are some of your guys' favorite memories? Like when you think of Christmas and you think of like growing up with Christmas, what is like a memory, a video, an object where when you see it, it just takes you right back to that place? Like for example, that video, I watch it, I go back to my childhood.
Oh, geez.
Chris, anything that comes to your mind?
No, nothing at all.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I'm an asshole.
I I was
right,
going
guys.
to say Chex Mix, but then you just did the ass thing, so then I don't know what to do.
All right. I feel very
It's all right, man.
I'll save you. I'll do my little thing. Chex Mix and peanuts for a couple of reasons. It was some of the only actual foods we'd ever get from commodities would be these knockoffs of Chex and these canisters of peanuts that were unsalted and horrible as they were.
They were
So my dad-
unsalted because you're salty enough.
So my dad would collect these throughout the year, and then right before Christmas, he'd make homemade Chex Mix with his own spice blend and honey roasted peanuts and stuff out of it and give them out to the family. And so I remember sitting there helping Dad turn all these cans of horrible commodity peanuts into freaking amazing honey roasted peanuts to give out to people.
You stirred the nuts.
You are just a dirty freak. What the freak is wrong with you?
I mean, guilty as charged, Your Honor.
I'm an innocent angel. It's obvious by how I'm dressed.
Lord help me. But Nix, what are some of your favorite like memories? What stuff kind of brings you there?
My biggest memory is that every year when my grandmother was alive, so up until 2012, I'd get a lot of socks and underwear. And for whatever reason, she'd make me show it all off.
What?
Yeah, I have to hold it all up for everyone to see.
Oh my God, Parrot Head, I hate you. Parrot Head likes to invade my DMs while I'm doing this and send me like the filthiest stuff. So
yes,
Nani. But yeah,
You do not hate him because he sends you sacrifices of redheads.
I mean, he's got a quota to keep. So. Oh, but yeah, so for me, yeah, so we'd always Christmas Eve we'd always go to my Nana's house, and we'd open up gifts from like the Nana and Granddad would give me gifts, or like from the aunts and uncles, and then Christmas Day would be for the immediate family, and then we kind of play like the what we call the gag gift game, which there's like infinite variations of it. Like most people are familiar with this game. I'm going to start to describe it and tell me when you guys catch on. So we each draw numbers out of it, okay? Like, let's say there's 12 people, we draw 12 numbers, all right? The person who draws the first one, they pick a gift. The second person can either pick a gift or steal from the other person. And then that person, so on and so forth. So there's a lot of, like, politicking, bargaining. Obviously, the couples would, like, would group up, and the thing is, they take the gift and they open it. I know some people they do it afterwards, but like for example, like let's say your candles. Like I can still remember my aunt saying romance in the bedroom, stuff like that. Or like you'd have like a wife who want a gift. Yeah, similar to the white elephant. We call it the gag gift game. But yeah, it's pretty common. There's a lot of different like variations of it. And it's so much fun because when you're deep in the game and people are like stealing from each other and like you could have like the husband like obviously like the wife wants it, and when the husband comes like, okay, give it here, it's just so much fun.
Last time I did one of those was the last Christmas party we did with my grandpa before he passed away, and literally I made these sets, earrings, bracelets, necklaces in high-end cat's eye and crystal of angels for jewelry. Made 3 of these sets, and it took like 2 hours to get out of this stupid game because my aunts were fighting over them, desperately trying to get those sets of jewelry.
Well, that's why we had.
That was going around and around.
There was one big rule: you can't steal back. So let's say.
So they went in circles so they could keep getting a hold of them.
Wow. Never underestimate the power of old white ladies to find a way.
They weren't white. This is native.
Well, I'm not going to say anything because then I'd be racist.
He just really said old white ladies to a group of standing soldiers.
So I am racist anyway. Okay.
You're racist.
my god.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Open mouth, insert both feet.
And the rest of the body, because I just want to swallow myself a pole and never exist again.
The
Oh
racist
So
my God.
first you
Ouroboros.
ask the Jew what he does for Christmas memories. Then you say old white people to a bunch of native women. You're on a roll. What are you guys doing
Parrot Head,
now?
quit the Parrot Head is sending me very luscious redheads. Thank
Nice.
you, but please stop. I'm trying to do a show here.
I can't stand up.
No, I can't. I can't right now. So what like so you know how like there's like the Red Ryder Ranger BB gun. What was your like Red Ryder Ranger BB gun like the best gift you ever received, or one that has like big memories? So we're obviously not going to be asking Chris. So Nix, go ahead.
My great grandmother, when I was like tween, so like around 13, 14, gave me a stack of Harlequin romance novels.
Oh dear God.
It was very embarrassing with all my
That says
family
so
around.
much.
Yeah.
That
Gabrielle on the
explains
cover.
so much.
But honestly, I really did appreciate it. 'Cause I've been feeling my grandmother. So
Okay.
Hmm.
I mean,
All right. Rose, what are your what are like
it's more
what
wholesome. Does that help? Okay, so I had to do all,
wholesome?
no, literally. I had to do all
Okay.
the brain scans and testing and stuff. And one of the years I had to go up and do a bunch of that a few days before Christmas. So all these sleep deprivation, prop you up and make you sleep in positions and scan brain, stick stuff to you, all this stuff. And Granny was trying to make me feel better about that. So she was looking for this perfect white teddy she wanted to get me. But the only version of it she could find was the male one. So she not only went and bought the male one, but she sat there and removed the bow and the clothing and stuff and re-sewed the bow into the head and changed it and all this
Wow.
stuff and things for me to give to me to cheer me up for going through all that.
Oh, that's surprisingly touching.
I have a sweet feminine side. She just doesn't come out very often.
Not very often at all. So I can't top that, but mine is a bit more materialistic. So cast
Oh,
yourselves
surprise.
cast yourselves to the year of 1998. Nix, I know you can't do that because you didn't exist then. It's fine.
Wow, cold.
I'm calling her young. That's a compliment.
I'm swimming through the ether.
Well, she's certainly swimming through
Was she
something.
just a twinkle in her daddy's eye then?
Sure, let's say that she was that's the piece of anatomy we'll use. But anyway, it's 1998, and we're spending Christmas at the cabin up in northern Michigan, and I open a gift. Actually, okay. All right, so I open a gift, and we're opening the presents, and I'm doing this to kind of grab something because it's a good prop. I open the we're opening presents, and I open the gift, and it's this. Not exactly this. I've rebought the game since then, obviously, but it was this. I opened this game, and I looked at my cousin and said, "Oh, cool! We can play it on your PlayStation." And I remember my aunt saying, "Oh, Nick doesn't realize it yet." So, and this is I swear this happened, but like like one of those true cinematic moments. I look up, and right there, my two sisters on either end are holding the box of a Sony PlayStation.
Yes.
And you thought the N64 kid was wild. So I immediately jumped up and said, "We got PlayStation! We got PlayStation!" Like literally, if someone had captured that moment, I would be the N64 kid. Like Rose, what do you like?
I'm pedaling. If I have to keep the blood sugar down, I have to keep pedaling. That's why I have the elliptical under the table.
Okay. All right. Fine. It's distracting for more than just me, so I'll take it. But anyway, Anyway, yeah, and so yeah, we had a PlayStation. And yeah, Casper was my first game. We eventually got, I believe, Crash 2. We rented Tomb Raider 2, I believe. We didn't get it. No, we got Crash 1. So yeah, I became like a big fan of the Crash games. And yeah. That was a really nice memory for me.
Hell yeah. Man.
Yeah.
It's a sweet gift. It's a bit materialistic, but it's still actually a really sweet story of surprising you.
Well, it's like I got one more that's actually a little more wholesome. Okay.
Aw.
So, this was probably like this story took place probably 2002, 2003, so about 5 or so years later. My middle sister, I'm obviously not using names, she had just started dating her boyfriend, the man who would eventually become her husband. And I remember sometime in like the summer or the fall, we went to Borders bookstore. That kind of tells you how long ago this was. And I was like a proverbial kid in the candy store. Like I was like, you know. And so come that Christmas, and I got this like the small little package, and I open it up, and it was a Borders gift card. I take one look at it, and I say to him, "You knew!" And yeah, it was very sweet because if he put thought into it. Like obviously he was there that day, and he saw how much I enjoyed it, and so he got me that gift card. So to me, the memory is the thought behind it because he didn't know me at all, and he wanted to get something so that's why that gift has a lot of emotional memories for me. Yeah.
We're gonna have one more if you can stand something really sugary.
Just make it sweet.
It is actually. So it starts bad and ends sweet, just like the other. Okay, so when my mom was pregnant with me, they actually had the place they were staying in burned down by an arsonist that was hitting the town that they lived in. In that case, it burned down the home of everybody who helped them, basically.
Okay.
And so this starts bad, yes. But so mom was going through all this stuff and going through every charity she could, trying to get gifts for her kids. Because they spent the first year basically living with family, trying to get work, all this other stuff, and they had no gifts for that next Christmas. So she goes through all these charities, the Toys for Tots, everything, and the local groups have nothing. So she thinks that this is going to be the Christmas her kids get no gifts.
Oh.
And she's heading to bed and hears a noise outside and actually had somebody drop at the door and leave before she could see them. A box with a special gift for each of us, including a stuffed dog for the newborn baby girl.
Aww.
So
I think my heart
gifts we had that year. That was the only gifts any of us had that year, was these few little trinkets in this box that was left at the door anonymously to help.
Chris, I think even you could admit right now your black heart is kind of a lovely shade of gray right now.
Okay, so I do have a soft side, and I did have some both. Yes, we went through a lot of trauma, but there were so many great little moments where people did good, nice things for us.
Yeah, and I think that's something like
Christmas brings it out.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the magic of the season. I think that's what people cling to every year is Christmas brings out the best in people. And it's like goodwill, cheer for all. God bless us, everyone. And you know, it's like the world is so bad. It's just for 1 month, people cling to this holiday for the hope. And I think the people who are the Grinches are usually the ones who have been disillusioned by hope, where it's like maybe they had a relative die on Christmas, or like if I can get personal for a moment, I don't have much contact with my family. I'm usually alone on Christmas, and it's hard on me. And so the Christmas season is difficult for me. because like I watch these commercials, like jewelry commercials I hate especially, and it's like I'm being teased with the one thing I want more than anything, but I know I can't have. A loving family, that time where everyone's just laughing and mischievous abound, people who do have happy families, be blessed, okay? I don't want you to feel sad for me. I want you to be happy for what you have. That's all I ask of you guys, okay? Don't feel bad on me. Don't get pity on me. If you have a good family, even if you have one person, feel blessed because you have more than me, and I'm happy for you. All right. Sorry, that got a bit serious. Sorry.
I'm just happy this year going into it that things were very, very bad between me and my siblings for a long time, and it's right before my dad died, about a year or so before, that my sister came back after not being around the family for over a decade. And there's a lot of stories to that, including me and mom siding with her ex-husband for custody because of the stuff she was pulling. So there was a lot of issues there. But she came back. She made amends and peace with dad before he died, and that's big. The fact that we've all actually managed to get a lot closer the last couple of years, especially after losing dad, is also important. That we're not at the point where we can't talk to each other or stand to be in the same room anymore, because there was a point where we were. And it hurts losing him, but at the same time, he was here to see that his death helped bring his kids back together, he'd be proud.
Agreed. And hopefully one day me and my family can make amends and I will be right in the world. I don't know if that day will come. I kind of doubt it, but I'd rather just focus on the positives. I have my health. I have like 3 other people streaming with me right now. Great people. I have 5 people currently watching the stream. So the fact that I have more than 0 people watching the stream just makes me so happy. So if you're watching this stream right now, thank you so much. You guys are a Christmas blessing to me, and I am truly thankful for you. I'm thankful for my co-hosts who week in and week out are there for me, have never let me down. So co-hosts, you guys are awesome. Audience, you guys are awesome. So I am not alone. Like I make my own family, and right now you guys are awesome. And I have Screecher. I have a successful comic book. I have 2.
I knew he was going to find a way to bring that up. I knew he was going to ruin the
Well
moment.
played, good sir. Well played.
I was waiting for him to ruin the moment with self-advertisement.
But everything I said was true, including the fact that I have a great comic. No, but seriously though, I am thankful for you guys. I am thankful.
I know.
For everyone, for Rose, Nix, some guy named Chris. I'm kidding, brother. Actually, I gotta spotlight Chris. Chris has been an anchor. Chris has been a really great guy. He has been on every stream, damn near every stream. He's been a great asset to the stream. Honestly, because like Jared is helpful, but like he wanted to have a life. How dare he? So he went to 2 weeks. But Chris has been an anchor that has helped kept things going. Nix, you are always willing to help me. Rose, you're awesome. You bring the boobs. You're great.
Gee, thanks.
Well, like I said in the pre-stream, you're way more than a good set of boobs. So.
Awkward.
Yes, very, very awkward. So here, look at Screecher. I mean, hey, it's my stream. If I'm gonna shill on any stream, it might as well be my own. So.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. And you know what? I think we've done the Christmas topic enough. There's this other topic that I'd stop kind of do, but we got some time, so let's get it on. Let's get a little spicy here.
Oh.
All right, so we're doing this, guys. So this topic's gonna hit a little bit closer home for us. We've like Chris and Nix. Have you noticed there's been kind of a lot more indie infighting like among like people we know? The more
little,
Christmas
yeah.
time for materialism. Yeah, and we're by the way, we are not going to be naming names. Some people might guess who we're talking about, but we are not going to be naming names. We're not going to be specifically calling people out. We're just going to be talking about, generalities and stuff. So, Chris, like, how would you like to speak on the matter?
Well, ever since back in 2020 when I first started following the indie stuff, like I've noted, like I think it's the curse of the creative spheres. Like creative people tend to be more chaotic, and there's always infighting, there's always drama. There's and for me personally, I want to be like the capybara of the indie stuff. Nobody hates me.
So what you're saying is you want everyone to be like,
All right, everyone, chill.
Yeah.
I have been wanting to use that clip for so long. You just served it to me on the platter, so thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I have friends that hate other friends, and I'm like, look, as long as you don't make me choose sides, we're cool. The moment you make me choose sides, you've made the choice for me. Like,
Rose is muted right now, but like, it's the same way. Like, Rose is a good friend of mine, but she's friends with people that I don't like, and they don't like me. But I'm not making her choose. She is free to be friends with both of us. You know what? That's great, because like, if you don't like a person, that's fine. You don't want to associate with a person, that's fine. But you don't make your friends choose. Okay,
exactly.
That's kind of a dick move.
Yeah, and I know it's so hard to just like I try to ignore it. I do, but like,
and it's hard.
Yeah, you see on the Twitter feed, like, or some other social media thing, especially you're on YouTube, where they'll like.
Wait, real quick. So you're saying, Lug, you want to be a galactic rodent of mayhem? Shout out to Gilly and his comic book ROM. Sorry, I love shouting out that guy. He's a great friend of mine. So
yeah, like you'll see like the fighting or whatever, and I'm like, okay, I'm ignoring that. That's not my business. Like, I'm not.
Yeah, it's like when you see two people that you really like. I remember, I've seen this a couple times where it's like I'm on Twitter and I see two people that I really like. They're just kind of squawk at each other. It's like, I'm gonna just like, if
I'll be over here.
It's like that clip from Force Awakens where the stormtroopers are like, nope.
Yeah, yeah.
I got to pull that clip up now.
Yeah, it's constant though. It's like, and a lot of it I think has to do with YouTube channel viewership, where if you're not a hot chick, then drama or like comedy, like there's a very small pillar like set of things that will make your channel super big, and drama is up there. The only problem is it's incredibly exhausting because you're constantly fighting.
Oh, wrong one.
Yeah, you're constantly fighting. Yeah, nope. But yeah, and a lot of and a lot of times the viewership of your channel is reflective, or I should say, is upstream of the sales viability of your book. Like a lot of these people are actually selling their book as YouTube merch.
Yeah, I got okay.
Oh, when Kylo throws a tantrum.
Tantrum Ren.
Yeah. Ah! Nope.
I love it. I love this clip. I just love it because like the body language on those troopers are so great.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't know what to say about like the current rage. I honestly I kind of lost track. Like I know like some of the bigger guys are always punching with other guys, and I feel like it's like kaijus, and I'm like one of the out of sync Japanese guys down in Tokyo going, oh no, while they're fighting up there.
Yeah, and like that's a lot of me. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Like I think I've kind of made some distance between Comicsgate. Like I'm not an anti Comicsgate person, but like I just don't really want any part of it because of the drama. Because like I've been in the Comicsgate spaces, and a lot of them are kind of toxic. And like you said, it's like the drama farm. Like I got victim to like drama hungry channels. It's like, okay, I'm here to promote my comics. I'm not here for fucking. I'm not fucking for. No, I'm not trying to do. Like I'm not here for your fucking Jerry Springer impression. Bad at that. Like, oh my god.
Yeah,
it's like. I get it. They want the gladiatorial sports. They want the owns, but like, I'm here to sell comics. I'm here to entertain you. Like, I resisted doing YouTube for so long because like I'm a YouTube creator, not a I'm okay. I got that wrong. I'm a comics creator, not a YouTuber, and like, I did get convinced because having your own platform is kind of key, even if you're not doing drama. Okay, I try to be a hub of positivity. I try to be like. This is where you go as a respite. Like you don't want drama, you want to have fun, laugh. You come here. You know that's what I try and do, and I like to think I'm pretty successful at that. You know that's my angle. But it's just like yeah. So I do YouTube, and it's actually not going too bad. I recently crossed 450 subscribers, so
hell yeah!
Thank you, everyone. Yeah, marching towards 500. We're gonna get monetized. It's gonna happen. So yeah, I just
yeah,
I don't know.
Well, I've noticed that though. Like, if you want to make the big sales, you got to get the drama, and you gotta like sell it. Like, you got to get the big YouTube channel and all this. And I'm like,
see,
I don't have a YouTube channel. I don't care.
Yeah, that's kind of been the wisdom for like the past 5 to 10 years. But here's a problem. Okay, yeah, you say something controversial, you get a bunch of people pissed off, you get a lot of sales. Okay, well, here's a problem with that tactic that everyone is trying to do. Eventually, people get tired of it. People get tired because like a person can only be so angry. And oh, we have a new challenger has entered the stage. Hey, buddy.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey.
Pretty good. We're talking drama. We're talking about indie infighting.
Oh, isn't that always fun?
Yeah,
well,
you came in at just the right time.
Oh, I tend to do that.
Well,
it's that thing where they get sick of it. That's what makes the drama channel or maintaining a drama channel so exhausting. Is that that's where like. What it starts off as is, it starts off as those the Doom tubers there that are like shitting on the mainstream media, and it's like we know Star Wars sucks, we know Star Trek is gone, we know Terminator.
You're literally talking about the entirety of the Phantom Menace movement. Sorry,
yeah,
I'm sorry, but Phantom Menace, grow up.
Well, when they've run out of that, and people are getting tired of the same shtick, then it turns into infighting because they gotta maintain that.
Say what you will about Comicsgate, but they pivoted towards making their own comics and promoting it. So I will give them props for that. They grew beyond the comic books, like modern comics sucks. Because like you gotta ask the question, what are they gonna do about it? So they asked themselves the question, so they made their own comics. So I will give Comicsgate props for pivoting to that. So
well, the one thing that really stuck out to me, the one
that the angry indie comic book nerd. Sorry, I had to.
Well, the one thing that really stuck out to me was when, some of these YouTubers or whatever were confronted with a gotcha, okay? Like, gotcha! And the gotcha was, what was your favorite part of X book? And that angered me in the sense that, they're like, that's a gotcha, you can't, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, dude, it's only a gotcha if you didn't read the damn book. Like, this isn't hard. You could be like, I didn't even like the book, but my favorite part of it was, this. And instead, you just get these hollow, like, it sucks when you get these guys in there that aren't even in it for the comics. The comic is just YouTube merch.
Well, I mean,
like for example,
honestly, it takes even
G, like Andrew Tate's Top G was very much that. Like he's like, I guarantee you, he saw Andrew what Eric July was doing. He's like, I could do that, but better.
Yeah, sell a beach towel. You'll make just as much money, and you'll not have to spend as much to make it.
Yeah, I don't know, but anyway, like you're saying, Sharon.
Yeah, well, even these days, that's even less of a gotcha because you know, with some of the other comics, they've got stuff that you can look on YouTube, and it becomes even more easy, even more accessible to watch. So therefore, you have even less of an excuse.
Yep.
I mean, for example, I've become a Warhammer 40K fan recently, and most people are like, "Oh, what's your favorite part about the books?" I'm like, "Look, I don't have the money. I don't exactly have the time to buy, 450 to 1,000 books just to understand the lore."
Yeah.
So there's a couple of guys on YouTube that you can literally go. I put their podcasts on at night when I'm doing other things, and I listen. And yeah, I get the lore. Sure, it's not to the depth that I would if I had actually sat down and read the book, but I can name off names like Trays in the Infinite, Alfarius, Omegon. I could go about it all day, but I'm not going to bore you. But even then, it's just like, look, even if you don't read the book, there are plenty of ways for you to understand what's going on. So asking, oh, hey, what's your favorite part about X is so not a gotcha.
Yeah, like this is a bit of a tangent, but like this kind of reminds me of like the people that say it's like you gotta read books to be smart. You want to be a writer, you gotta read books. Like, yes, books are great, but like they're not the only thing. I have a short attention span nowadays. Thank you, modern media. But so I watch a lot of YouTube content, and I'm like looking up so much informative content and it's feeding my brain. Like I'm learning constantly about all these different topics, and it's great. And I don't even crack a book. And I'm not saying don't read books. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is like I've even like gone on places and be like, yeah, books are great, but they're not the only source of knowledge. And I get like crapped up. How dare you insult books?
No, my thing about it though is like what depressed me about when all of my hobbies were co-opted and hijacked by Marxists in the mainstream media was that I could no longer geek out about the shit that I liked. It was, I can't talk about this because I'm a insert label, immutable quality here. And it was like, okay, I now no longer have any friends to like geek out about the things that I love, and the things that I love went to shit. So let's go over to the indie stuff. Like these guys are making the alternatives. And you can't talk about that stuff because there's all sorts of politics and you said the wrong thing about the guy that's bigger than you or whatever. So their hate mob is going to come and destroy your book or whatever.
All right, real quick, Ego Rider. I know you got to go. Thank you for coming on the show. I just wanted to give you a send off, so it's all good.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Cheers.
Take care.
But
yeah, you were saying, Chris?
Yeah, like I can no longer, like as a geek, like that was the thing is like when prior to the infection, it was, well, that's all niche, so you had to like find other people, other smaller groups of people, if you were even lucky to find a fellow geek or a nerd or whatever that was into the same shit as you, and you could talk about it. And then when it became mainstream and the Marxists took over, they kicked you out of all your hobbies, and it depressed the shit out of me. So I went over to the indie stuff. And then I'm like, okay, I can start geeking out about this stuff. But it's like, no, you can't say any disparaging things or any like criticism or anything, because then you get a whole hate mob after you. And it's like, so you can't even geek out about the indie shit either. And that's where the gotcha really pissed me off, because it was like, that's a pretty innocuous question of what's your favorite part about the book. And it reminded me of when I was at E3 behind the scenes listening to my superiors parlaying about getting business deals of getting our product, our game, onto keynote speeches or onto the floor of certain console manufacturers during E3 and blah, 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 blah. And not only did they mispronounce the title multiple times, they didn't even know what the product was because they didn't care. Like they weren't there for the actual product. They weren't like fellow consumers that just happened to be working on it. They were the corporate people. And that's what's happened with the indie stuff is you get these cults of personality. You get these corporatized like, oh yeah, I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine because it's all about clout, And it's like, dude, it should be about the freaking books, man. Like I know people that love ISOM. I know people that hate ISOM. But
yeah,
talking about it is awesome. Like it, I'm not like a super fan about it, but it's great to geek out about like, hey, do you remember that when this happened or whatever? And we can't do that in the open because hate mobs come, or oh, you're just jealous because so and so did. I'm like, I don't. It has nothing to do with that. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm just judging it by the product.
Personally, in regards to ISOM, I'm rather neutral. Like, the book itself doesn't look like something that like will really interest me, but like I have no problem with it.
Yeah, I'm
really
happy for
my big thing is I really respect what Eric is doing. I feel like Eric is the disruption the comic book industry has sorely needed for years. I feel like he is let's be honest. Us indies have been kicking and screaming for like the past like 5 years, and then one fall swoop, Eric July comes in, makes $3 million in ISOM. Now everyone is paying attention to indies. I'm not jealous of it. I'm happy. Okay, because of him, now indies are going to be taken a lot more seriously, because there always has to be that one person that bursts down the door and makes them realize, oh, holy crap, not only is there money to be made, we need to take this stuff seriously.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
the indie gold rush hasn't even happened yet. Okay.
Well, I would also argue that like some of these bigger guys are not indies. Like, they're just small businesses. Like, you know what I mean? Like, an indie is like somebody that's basically a one-man army. Like, they're not the people that have a faculty or multiple warehouses to store their inventory. You know,
as much as we love Eric, he's not really indie. He literally has an entire studio of people. Like,
he had Blaze Media backing him. Like, that's none of us have that. That's not, you know what I mean? And it's not. It's not a ding against him. And again, I'm happy for his success. More power to him. And like you said, it's a disruptive force. And I like his product, but let's not kid ourselves that you can't put that in the same category as the dude that's like inked, penciled, drawn the thing himself and spent his own money, basically gambling his own bank account.
Do I need to whip out the comic again?
yeah, that was the segue. But you know what I mean? Like it's, you can't, it's apples to oranges. Like, how many indie people in our group can...
I am indie.
Yes. Yeah, you are, and that's what we should be.
You're indie. Like, you're indie, brother.
Hell yeah. And it's...
I'm indie as well.
There you go. Like, and there's not... it's not a ding.
And the Nyx is just indecisive.
Yeah. Indie ship. But
yes, she is a queen of ships.
Yeah, but it's like it's not a ding against these people, and it's not like a resentment or whatever. But it's like a weight class in boxing. You're not going to put Manny Pacquiao versus Mike Tyson. You know what I mean?
It's like trying to compare a B movie to a AAA production, essentially.
I mean, you might not do that, but they sure put Manny Pacquiao against Floyd Mayweather.
Ouch! Yeah,
that was actually a fight a few years ago. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, but like, oh, sorry.
Yeah, well, I guess the weight classification's slightly a bit of a misnomer. I'd make the connection to a similar media, which is cinema, in that they've got AAA, AA, and B movie and independent. And yes, each is considered a weight class, but you don't generally see people who are quote unquote cinephiles saying, well, this movie is really great, but it sucks compared to this AAA flick. They realize, oh, hey, I'm in for a B.
Yeah, like the cinephiles.
And I'm not going to and while I will draw comparisons, and while I will see, this kind of, narrative referencing between perhaps the B movie and a AAA film that it took inspiration from, it's not going to be like, oh, this movie is trash because it's not AAA.
Well, like look at the original Ninja Turtles, okay? The black and white, it was Eastman and Laird, like they're, prior to, was it prior to whatever? Were they first on Dark Horse or did they go somewhere?
No, they were Mirage Studios, and they published the Mirage Studios because it didn't really they weren't really a studio; it was just the two of them. That's why they're called Mirage Studios. I think they got published not under Dark Horse, but under by Malibu. I think it was Malibu or no, that was Image. Image was originally okay, but it was Mirage Studios that did Turtles.
Yeah, and it was just two dudes. Like that's the spirit of independence. Is you had a singular vision. You didn't have any employee. Like, could those guys afford action figures? Could those guys afford massive factories, or I'm sorry, not factories, but like warehouses to house massive stock of inventory? No, they couldn't. They were just two dudes that made a cheaply made independent book. And when you see that competing against or compared to the dudes that have those resources that I had described, it's like that's not even remotely in the same realm. Like you're talking a small or medium business versus, you know, a couple of dudes in their garage. Like that is a huge difference. And it I don't want to say it's unfair, but it definitely feels inaccurate to put these two on the same competition level and say, oh, they're indies. It's like, at what point does an indie become a company? You know what I mean? Like, at what point does it stop being indie? Because at some point, everything was an indie. You know, Marvel was an indie, Timely Comics, you know, like.
I would say that if we're going to speak directly numbers, and I'm not a numbers guy, but if we were to specifically do that, I'd say an independent company stops being independent once their employee threshold increases to the upper single digits or the initial double digits.
Yeah.
That's when you start leaving the zone of indie and go into fledgling company.
Well, that and just finances. Like, I can't, like, I've given all I've had, you know, as far as the revenue that I can invest in my product. If I wanted to explore action figures, or I wanted to explore animated trailers, you know, cartoon trailers or whatever.
Keely, I think that sounds about right. Yeah, I think that sounds about right.
Yeah. If I wanted to explore all of these elements, I would have to take out loans. It's not within my realm of realism. And nobody else that is a single person, unless they're, you know, a single or an indie developer, is, you know, that realm of possibility to do those things is highly unlikely. You know, when you start having multiple employees and you can afford basically what the mainstream does, you know, to their products, I don't want to say that that's an independent thing anymore, because it's not. You're a company, and you can't pitch that against the dude that's or the chick, you know, because there's some indies out there that are, you know, some badass female comics creators. They're doing it themselves. They don't have you know, a faculty of employees. They don't have a massive warehouse.
So, Chris, is there any like any female comic creators you want to shout out right now? I can't think of any at the top of my head, but like if you got any, or Nyx or Sharon, if there's any indie creators you want to shout out right now, or send me links that I can post, please do.
Yeah, I mean, dude, what got me, like, when I first jumped on, I mean, kudos to YouTube, because they were like, oh, hey, here's Rini Draws, you know?
Oh,
and
yes.
I was like, oh, damn.
She is a powerhouse. That girl is a powerhouse.
Yeah, I mean, granted, she is a former pro, so that, you know, she's bringing, you know, the mainstream, like the people that you know, became fans when she was in mainstream.
Oh, there's also the creator of Demon Bitch. Like,
oh yeah.
I've done streams with her. She is a really nice lady. Like, her persona and her real life personality are completely different, but like her marketing is amazing, and God bless her.
Yeah. Oh, God, what is it? Ego Raven there. God, what's her name? God, I hate being senile. Yeah,
memory's always the first thing to go.
Yeah, hold on. I'll find her name, because she's
so Nyx, what would you like to give your thoughts on this? You've been kind of quiet, so.
I don't know. I mean, I think all my thoughts have already been said by others. So, like, I don't know. I think it's starting to be that we're having the same problems in the indie scene that we've seen with the big leagues, basically.
Oh, Rosalith. Oh, I love her. She's great. I've done a stream with her before where we chat on Twitter sometime. She is a great talent, and she does really great stuff. So, Lugsberg, if you wanna shoot me the link to her stuff on Twitter, I'll post it in the comments. But yeah, and that, like, I want to get back to like this 7 Guys Left Marvel. We kind of recently saw a similar thing happen recently. Like, are you guys aware of like the Ghost Machine comics thing going on?
No, what's that?
So like a bunch of DC talent left DC, like Jeff Johns and some other people, They formed Ghost Machine, and like they're basically just doing the Image thing. I actually think they're under Image right now. They're like an imprint, kind of like Robert Kirkman has his imprint under Image.
Oh shit!
So they literally just did the Image thing, and it's just crazy that like, yeah, modern comics are just crumbling. I don't know,
dude. That's why I'm trying to go manga as well. Like in my next campaign, I'm going to launch obviously the traditional full color version of book 2, but you know I've been studying up on manga, and I'm I talked with Aaron.
That's literally the whole point of Torrent Samurai. Is I'm trying to like at least kind of get in on the manga scene.
Yeah,
like, that's why I've kept it black and white, and like okay, I do the red, so that because like literally when I get like 5 issues done, I'm gonna release it in Manga Digest.
There you go.
Sure, it's gonna be American manga. It's not gonna be, but it's close enough that most people won't care.
Yeah,
and like I get it in Barnes and Noble, and I know it's gonna attract people. So yeah.
Yeah, amen. Like so, I speaking with Aaron, over at Immortal Rising Comics, like we were like, how speaking in terms of like World War II analogies. Like the Germans were superior engineers to the Allied forces. German engineering is just masterful, and they had the German Tiger tanks, which were superior to the American Sherman tanks. Were superior to the American Shermans in every way, shape, or form. The only problem is they were a pain to maintain. They had a slow turnaround for reproduction, which is
because they were over-engineered.
Yeah, well, we're doing the same thing in Western comics. I mean, especially from an indie perspective, we're asking for $40. It's full color.
Exactly. This is a problem. This is another problem I had with Comicsgate, where if your stuff wasn't like world class, top quality, they didn't even care. And I'm like, what the fuck? It's an hour and 22 minutes in. I can swear.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
For the dark humor, there's nothing to cause a German engineer to, game end themselves faster than to watch one of their Tiger tanks lose a wheel again. Because they basically have 3 or 4 different layers, quite possibly, that they have to rip apart just to get to the one part and then reassemble it.
But so the metaphor wasn't so much about the tank, but was the idea that it was expensive to reproduce. It was slow to roll out. And then you had the American Shermans, which is basically what manga is doing. They're cheap to produce. They're in black and white. Their content is king. Like these books, most of these mangas that you go to Barnes and Noble to pick off the shelves are like around 200 pages, And they're in newsprint. Like, they're newsprint. And here's the thing is they're cheap to put out. Like I've been pricing out my book, and the manga edition, which will contain books 1 and 2 in black and white, will be cheaper than book 2 in color. And the reason for that is it's cheaper to make. And there's a development philosophy that works. Like everybody should take this to heart, which is fail fast or fail quickly. Because if this manga book doesn't sell, I'm not going to lose as much money than the book 2 that doesn't sell, because it's gone full color. It's taken almost it's over 2 years now to get this damn thing out. Like you can't, it's a losing battle for indies to ask for an exorbitant amount of money, like $30 for like a sub 100-page book or more. And then you get shipping in there and all this stuff, and you got to wait multiple years or a year or so to get this damn thing out. Like, you're asking a lot from a customer.
Yeah,
whereas manga is just
I hate asking like $10, like $15, $20. It's like my books are minimum $20 with shipping. Like, and I sell them at cons for $5. I hate selling my books for $5. Like, I wish I could sell them for $3, but like with the cost production, I literally can't. And like even with like Torrent Samurai, like even with it's black, white, and red, I'm gonna have like 100 pages. So like even then, I'm less than manga. And like let's say sell it for $10, $15, like I'm still a lesser value proposition than manga. And like I put out 2 books a year, which is crazy by indie standards. Most people put out like 1 book every few years. Like, but I'm
like for example,
floppies.
Yeah, well, I'm talking the manga omnibus. those generally are priced comparable to modern Western comics nowadays, but they have almost quadruple the content.
Yep.
Because a lot of those are like 3 different volumes that they just mixed into one book and shipped out for like $30-$40.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, though, is it's cheaper. Like, and I hate using the term cheap, so I guess I'll use like it's more economical for the creator to be agile and to get more content out as quickly as possible. That's costing them less to get it to the customer. And if the customer doesn't like it, or if the customers in general, if the book isn't selling, it's going to cost you. I think I priced it out on Mixam for like a 160-page book. It's around a little under $5 for a 160-page book, perfect bound, black and white. Okay. That is not a lot. Like, that's not a big loss, versus like the 7 or the 6 or whatever that it's going to cost for a standard sized comic that's in full color or whatever, and that price just keeps going up. And you want to, in business, you want to make it so that it costs less for you and you can sell higher, because you can change, it's a nice little dial. If that book is selling like mad cakes at, $4, let's see how well it sells at 5 or 6. Oh, it's not selling as well. Okay. Dial it back down to 4,
or like, even like, people love the black and white version. Let's put it in color. Look what The Walking Dead did. Like 10 years later, they colorized The Walking Dead, because my mentor in comics, he says something to me that's always going to stick with me.
Mm-hmm.
If you can sell a comic once, cool. If you can sell a comic twice, even better.
Yep.
If you sell a comic 3 times, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And what that means is, different versions, like selling Screecher the floppy, Screecher the graphic novel, or selling Torn Samurai, the floppy, Torn Samurai the manga, Samurai the trade, or
the
colorized Torn Samurai. Like, I have the same thing, but I've like sold it multiple times. Like, that's hella economical.
Yep. And on top of that, it's passive income as well. So each one of those versions that you've created, it costs you on the initial run, but after that initial run, especially if you put it on like a print on demand site like Amazon or one of these other sites that does this, it's not costing you anymore, and it's just free money. At that point, you're making a bonus of everything that you're selling anytime one of those books sells.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, thanks to Biden's economy, nobody has any spending money anymore. Disposable income is a thing of the past, and we can't. Gone are the days when you're asking, here's the 200, here's the 500, here's the whatever tier, and we're seeing that across all of these indie projects where they're getting fractions of what they made a year ago, 2 years ago. And
like this is why I always make sure to have low cost tiers. Like maybe 2 years ago, I could have sold Screecher for like 20 or 30, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But nowadays, okay, like I've always had it at like $10-$20 with shipping. Like, okay, yeah, I can still do that. And this is something that like I think a lot of people are having a hard time with. Like, I've always been economical. Like okay, you made $3,000, but that isn't like I'm just trying to cover printing and shipping. So that's why I can ask for more money. So like, yeah, I'm making $1,500 to $2,000, but I'm still making enough to produce my comics. So it's like,
Yeah. And I mean, ultimately, what this is about is getting it into your potential customers' hands. Hearing an echo, sorry, Shiro.
I muted him. It's okay. Shiro, when you're good again, let us know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's about getting it into your customers' hands. And right now, the barrier to entry is cost. And if you can get, like you're saying, like when you go to the conventions, dude, like you were telling us the numbers that you were making at those conventions, and it was like, holy crap, you got people right in there, like it's right in their hands. Like, you can't get a better sales opportunity than being in front of somebody and shoving your book in their, in their eyes and being like, do you want this? And there's that yes, no interaction right then and there.
Yeah. And that's and like, yeah, I'm a pretty decent salesman. I'm not like, I don't claim to be a massive salesman, but I'm kind of okay. Like, I'm an okay salesman. I'm not going to I'm not going to write the art of the deal, but like I may be above average at best. I'm trying to be humble here. But part of it is my product, and part of it is the price. Like I sell it for $5, and like I might upcharge them, be like, because like what I do is like I have these big prints, and I say, oh, these prints are $7, but if you buy it with a comic, it's $10, saving you $2. Spoiler alert: I've never actually sold a print for $7.
Mm-hmm.
It's an upcharge tactic. It's a very standard, and it works. And I do use some salesman techniques. I try not to be scummy. I try, but I try to let my enthusiasm for my comics kind of be the main driving force. Like you see this person, they're telling you about their comics, they're really excited, they love it. You can hear it in their voice, you can feel the energy, and that energy is infectious. Like they like the comic, and they say, "Oh, it's $5." Like even if like I've had people where it's like, "Okay, I'll buy it because I want to support you. I like what you're doing. I like your enthusiasm. I'll buy the comic support." That happens all the time, and bless them. And it's like, and that's why my $100 tiers are just bonuses. I don't try to rely on them.
Yeah.
Because like you said,
you're not going to sell 100 of those. Like,
like Street Team number 2, I sold 5, and that was probably the most of those tiers I've sold yet, which is great. It's great. I broke my record, but I had 25 available, and I sold a fifth of them. I don't know. I just feel like because sometimes creators need to be a little more. I don't know. The thing that I don't like about some indie creators is you do the book, you get $5,000, $10,000, and then you freaking disappear from the internet for years, and then like years later, it's like, oh, the book's done. It's like, wait. The worst thing that can happen is have a person say, wait, I supported that.
Yeah. Oops, I forgot.
And this is the thing. Like I think one of the things that helps me is I'm constantly either producing a book or kickstarting a book, so I have this constant momentum going. And I think it helps me. Sorry, I need some water.
Yeah, just to add, like, yeah, I mean, it definitely, there is this weird disconnect where like, thanks for the money, and then like a few years or a year or so later, or whenever this thing rolls out, you get the book in the mail, and you're like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
like
I'm going to tell you right now, I've been like laying down some plans, formulating some plans, and there might be a situation because for Volume 2 of Screecher, I'm not going to go the floppy route because it's taken me like 4 or 5 years to get to this. I want people to get Volume 2 a lot quicker, so I'm just going to do it all in one go. I might actually have to crowdfund the production, so that's going to be more money, but I'm not going to disappear. I'm going to be constantly updating with like, hey, here's new pages, here's this, here's that, and like I'm gonna keep people in the loop. I'm gonna keep people updated, and like I might do it like, oh, you'll get ebooks of it as they release, kind of thing. Hey, welcome back, buddy.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
Hey. Another thing to add is that, and I know that like it's not my place.
Wait, Chris, before you do this, I gotta address the comic. That's pretty much what I do nowadays. Like I like to have the book completely done before I launch the book.
That's like, I'm sorry, but like I'm a nobody, and I got my book out to everybody within like a month after the campaign closed.
Yeah.
If I'm a nobody and I have nobody helping me, and I don't exactly have the best of health, and I'm able to do this, what's the excuse of the people that have an entire, workforce with them?
Or like look at me. I usually get my book out like 3 or 4 months. Like the campaign ended in November, and I already have the books printed, and they're already
you got it in your hand if you want to show it.
Sorry, I'm focusing on like the talk, and you're like, hey, chill.
Remember who you with talking right now.
Yes. Insert Jewish stereotype here.
Our Jewish godfather.
Hey, just don't. So, Sharon, is this your first time seeing the book?
Yeah, and that looks phenomenal. It's
that's
cool.
the cover I got.
And Lug is like completely on the money here.
Yep.
And Peter Venkman's fan side is completely on the money here. So I'm just gonna like show this. Thank you, Princess Krogan, for this awesome cover art. Just wanted to say, Yep. But yeah. And so yeah, like even when I have to crowdfund the production, I'm still gonna have like 1 or 2 pages done before I do it, just to show like, hey, this is what it's gonna look like, and like I'll have the cover and like 1 or 2 pages already done to show like, yeah, this is what it's gonna look like. You know what I'm saying? So people can know like, okay, like yeah, he's, you know, because like yeah, it's gonna be really expensive to do the whole thing at once, and it might be beyond my means. But I am dead serious. I want to get this stuff out quicker, and if that's what I have to do, then that is what I will do.
Yeah, man. That's why it's taken me so long to get book 2. Kim.
I have to take a second. Lug, thank you for your trailer. This is the guy who did the trailer for the crowdfunding campaign. Lug, you did an amazing job. I'm sure I wouldn't have gotten as many sales if it weren't for your amazing trailer. So I got to give you some props.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Man. And that's the indie stuff too, is you're like, hey, I do this. Oh, hey, you want to help me?
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I try to be very grateful, not just for the people who help me, but like the people who support me. Because like I don't want to be also Lug is like
hell yeah.
I don't want to be the kind of guy where I take my fans for granted. I don't want to be that guy. If I ever become that guy, please, for the love of God, make fun of me, tar and feather me, clip this, and if I ever become an egotistic asshole, please shove this clip straight in my face. Hopefully, future Nick, stop being such an egomaniac. There. So if I ever do become an egomaniac, the Nick and me will straighten out future Nick. So
quick, somebody clip that.
That and I mean, there's a fine line between being, like confident in your product and being an ass to your customers or your backers.
Yeah, that's kind of like a tier list. Tier list, dear God. The avocado is growing on me. But anyway, so basically there's kind of like a pyramid of this. So you have confidence. Confidence, great. Have as much confidence as you want. But if you get too confident, you risk becoming arrogant. Arrogant is mostly bad, but it can be.
You can back it up.
if you're backing up and you earned it. Like Dave Grohl is arrogant, but also Dave Grohl is one of the greatest musicians of all time. Like Paul Stanley is arrogant, but he's Paul Stanley.
Bruce Lee.
Well, tell that to his heart. But
I was gonna say. Oh, sorry. What were you saying, Shiro?
No, I was just saying that's one of those things. If you're that successful, a little bit of arrogance is tolerable. But when you're being an ass and you're basically acting like Team 4-Star Vegeta, yeah, people are gonna start looking to take you down a peg or 2 or 5.
Well, that's the other thing is we definitely have a very crab in the buckets environment.
Oh my God, yes. And the worst thing you can do is actually leave the bucket. They hate, like, I've had this myself. Like I was in a bucket and I left the bucket and they were mad. They still are actually.
Well, there's a lot of mercenary in the indie stuff too, which I find a little off-putting. Where it's
mercenary. What do you mean by that?
Well, it's for themselves and for themselves only, meaning that I've helped a lot of people. I'm not going to toot my own horn on this. I'm not, let's just say I've done some stuff for people, and they're like, "Yep, thanks." And it's like, I'm not expecting reciprocation, but you do have platforms. You could have helped me, but nope, none of that. It's like, oh, okay, so it's what have you done for me lately? Kind of like you don't hear from these people, and then all of a sudden they need something, and it's like. You do it, or like when my product came out and I was like one of the first to do like the shrink wrap, the Mylar boxes. And they're like, oh, where did you get that done? Dumbass me. I was like, oh, hey, this is where I got it. This is where I got it. And then when I saw something that somebody had gotten and I'm like, hey, where did you get that? I'd love to, would you mind sharing me where you got that, that made? Cause I would love to have that for my product. And they just ghosted me or they just, give me a runaround.
Static.
Yeah. And it's like, wait, so I'm good enough to like, say where I got all my stuff, which isn't a big secret. Like, You know, it's
Yeah.
out there. Like, welcome to the internet. You know, but at the same time, when I'm desperately searching for something and I couldn't find it, and I see somebody have it, and I'm like, where the hell did you get that? Like, that's awesome, dude. And they're like, yeah, that's ours. Like, go to
See,
hell.
the thing is, I subscribe to this idea, and I think Chris will agree with what I'm about to say. I believe the rising tide lifts all ships. Okay,
Yeah.
and and just because someone is more successful for me than me does not diminish my success. Like, okay, someone made $5,000 on the Kickstarter, or like someone sold more books than me. Like, yeah, that's good for them. But I'm still selling my stuff. My stuff is still popular. I have people, like, there are people watching this live stream right now. Yeah, more people, like, there might be two or three times more people watching different live stream, and that's fine. But I have people on my live stream. That's freaking cool. You guys want to hear what I have to say? Like, that is amazing. Thank you.
Well, I think one of the best ways to kind of describe this whole crab in the bucket situation that we're having this issue with is the fact that these people, yeah, they view this as their passion, they view this as their hobby, but they view this as their career first and foremost before they've even taken off.
Yeah,
They forget the passion for the money that's in front of them. For
like,
me,
yeah,
I try
look
and
forward.
go into
I
video
look forward to
game
being
making.
successful. I look forward to being successful. I look forward to the Porsches, but I got to work for that. And the thing is, I'm not going to sell anything that I'm not passionate about. So
Exactly, but for them, it's the money first, the passion second, and so when they see somebody else who's making the money that they view as theirs, it's like, no, that's my money.
Oh,
yeah,
And in
it's
reality, they forget that the passion has to come first.
yeah, my outlook is, see, this is how I always see it. If you can get a job doing something you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And that is what I strive for. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I like I like making comics. I like, selling them, and these live streams are actually really fun. You guys are actually really fun to talk to. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm always glad to be on here, dude.
Yeah, it's like, thank you. You guys are all awesome. Thank you, and for everyone who's watching this, you're all awesome too. Thank you so much. I'm just very grateful right now. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But
But
go
one
ahead.
thing that I'd like to touch on before you get on a new topic, as a video game designer, a lot of people, for me, I have to approach this from the writer's angle, and so everybody's like, well, why aren't you plugging your shit? Why aren't you plugging your stuff? And it's like, look, when I've got something to plug, I will plug it right now. This is my passion project. I've already got a day job. I'm working on this on the side. When I get to a point where I feel like I can take off and I can have this be my career, it'll be my career. And then you'll see my passion basically double or triple up because now I get more energy to invest into this.
Yeah. I'll tell you, man, the thing that keeps me going is when I see people that financially supported me. They cared enough to actually give me their money. Like, that's a physical manifestation of their time. So they basically given me a piece of them, and they're like, I enjoy the product. Like, that's not just an ego wank. That's a morale booster. That's okay, well, if you really did like it, I endeavor to have your continued support. I want to entertain you. I'm not here to like boost my own ego. I'm not here to be like, look, I'm the greatest because I'm not. I mean, anybody that's realistic can say that, I'm not one of these ex-pros that jumped into the indie sphere that have like 20 years experience in doing this. In fact, my comic was originally written in screenplay format, and I needed help converting it over.
I don't know about you, Chris, but I am the greatest indie comic book writer of all time. Like, Jack Kirby could learn a thing or two from me. I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding, by the way. I'm kidding.
I picture you getting, dude. I picture you getting fed grapes by Gal Gadot as you're saying that.
Well, Sam, that's not actually happening right now. Like, she's wearing a Wonder Woman t-shirt and nothing else.
Yeah, giggity.
This grape is rotten. What the fuck are you doing?
Eden bought 10,000 or whatever from Futurama.
I bought over 9,000 grapes. So,
man.
But like, yeah, and like, I gotta tell you, the thing that keeps me going is interacting with people on Twitter and seeing them generally excited for my comics. Like, Screecher is the one that people are like, the one that gets more of the excitement, and that's fine. You know, Torrent Samurai still has its fans. But like when I see people would be like, "Oh, I love it! I can't wait for Screecher," and like they get genuinely excited, or when someone gives me a fan art of Screecher, you know, and they just drop it in. Like for example, okay, this is perfect opportunity. I gotta do this. I'm sorry. Chill. Okay, all right. So you want to know the story of this cover? Do you want to know the story?
Sure.
So, I once stated on Twitter what I wouldn't give to have Screecher drawn in a Mike Turner art style, you know, like the Witchblade guy. And so, one day, Princess Sparkle Krogan on Twitter, who is a very dear friend of mine, she dropped me this fan art. Okay, this is fan art.
Oh, damn, dude!
Nice.
And she gave this to me, and I asked her, "Hey, that looks really good. Can I use it for a cover?" And she said yes. So I had permission, you know? And you know what? She bought her own cover. Like, she still supported it, and she bought her own cover. That is how awesome Screecher fans are. So, this was given to me, and I'm so grateful. So I got an alt cover. And, yeah, and she even bought her own cover. Like it's these people. They're so, like, they like this thing. To such a, and I'm not saying like everyone in the world loves Screecher, but I have a fan base, which blows my freaking mind. All right. So yeah, this was given to me by free, and I got permission to put it on a cover, and then she bought it. She bought her own cover. So thank you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's insane. It is nuts.
I mean, I guess one of the best lessons to kind of take away from that is instead of desiring the fan base you don't have, appreciate the one you have.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the hell out of you guys. Just be honest.
Yeah, be humble, dude. Like, I mean, it doesn't hurt to appreciate, you know, like say you don't make a bunch of sales, okay? But you reached at least one person. That one person, you got to be grateful for. And
yeah, like for example, I've talked about this before. Like, Torrent Samurai doesn't sell as much as Screecher. That is a fact, but it still sells. Like, I still make okay, I'm not making like $2,000 on Torrent Samurai, but I'm still making my making the crowdfunding thing, and I'm still making a little bit more. Like, okay, it doesn't fund as fast. Who cares? You guys are still funding it. Like even if it's less popular, it still has an audience. So I'm gonna still keep continuing Torrent Samurai because even though you guys like Screecher more, I still like Torrent Samurai. Thank you.
And I mean, we got to be really grateful as creators for being born in the era we are, because how many creators in history, as a student of history, just how many of them, writers, artists, musicians, died without ever having once in their particular lifespan receiving any bit of
Van Gogh
patronage, any bit of recognition, and as soon as they died, their stuff became world famous because somebody picked it up and realized, oh hey, their stuff's really good.
Van Gogh, Emily Dickinson.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not gonna lie. The finale of the Van Gogh episode of Doctor Who, where like the doctor takes Van Gogh
to this day. Still breaks.
Yeah, it breaks me too. I don't care. That was a beautiful episode, and like that finale where he actually takes Van Gogh, and the saddest part is he still commits suicide, but still, that is just a beautiful, beautiful scene.
Yeah, he looked at like the recognition that we all desperately crave, you know? I mean, it sucks. Recognition is something that we don't, what is it? A fool seeks it his entire life. No, a wise man seeks it his entire life, but only a fool expects to find it.
Yeah.
And it was heartbreaking because it's something that most creators will never get that opportunity to. And only in that fictional world of Doctor Who, we was able to time travel to go into the future and show Vincent van Gogh all of his stuff and be like, look, dude, your stuff is appreciated. Because at the end of the day, what that literally translates to me is 2 words: you matter. And
yeah, I mean,
most
there was
people don't
also the
get that.
Charles Dickens episode where, you know, Dickens was right before writing basically Scrooge.
Mhm.
And he was basically, you know, thinking, I'm done. I have nothing left in me. And David Tennant tells him, not only are you considered one of the greatest writers of your time, your works will be remembered even when this earth has long turned to dust and burned away to ash.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely. I do want to Lug. I think that is a great idea. I think you should do it. And if you want me to participate, I'd be more than happy to. But I encourage you to run with this idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Before we head off, I do want to show you guys something really cool.
Hell yeah.
So you know, it's how it's like, what one comic is done, next one goes.
Mhm.
I'm going to give you a preview.
Oh.
So this is the pencils for Screecher issue 4. Obviously, they will be ink shaded and colored, but I just kind of want to give you a preview. I actually got page 3 earlier tonight, and I'm going to show it to you.
Nice.
Here's page 2. So, yep, they're using their practice swords. You know, Kiro's training Tyler. They're having a disagreement. Shout out to Brian Q for doing this art. Like this guy is amazing. I love him. You know, like look at the detail for this. Like seriously.
Yeah.
Like I asked him to do like Cyberpunk City, and he just totally like he just ran with it. Looks so good. And these are just the pencils. These are just the pencils, guys. Like this hasn't even been inked or shaded. Like, oh, this book is gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good.
Hell yeah, man.
So I wanted I really do need to read Lug's comics. Like he keeps trying to get it to me, and I keep not doing it. So I'm gonna put this on record. Lug, I need to read your comics. I should have, but I'm not, and I do apologize for that. So I'm putting that apology on record. But yeah. Yeah, so let's kind of just go around and we'll talk about like people can kind of talk about what say like their final words. If they anything they want to shield for, they're more than welcome to do. So Nix, go right ahead.
I sadly have nothing to show.
But is there anything you want to say?
Have a good weekend, everyone.
All right. Sharon, are you also shillless?
I mean, for my own personal shilling right now, yeah, as the holiday season has just been killing me. However, I will shout out some of my fellow creators in the gaming scene. Please give these guys some love. Right now, most of these guys are either pre or just starting releasing their game campaigns or Kickstarters. So find them, give them some love somehow. Natsukaze, who's creating Maple Forest, CQ, who's creating Cast Aside, Krabby Sam, Seizui, Daniel, who is creating Elementalis. Just like anybody in that kind of circle, they're really, really good folks, and I'd appreciate it if you gave them all some love because they've been doing a lot to help me out.
Yeah. All right, Chris, I know you're not shillless, so shill.
All right, sweet. So yeah, I guess I can show off that that what I was discussing earlier about mangafying book 1 and 2 actually. So as you can see there, that's our prototype for the what the manga cover will look like, and it's
ooh, that looks pretty.
Nice,
man. Yeah, volume 1, Jumiko no Taisen. So
Nani?
Yeah, Jumiko no
clearly
Taisen.
the only word I know.
Well, Jumiko no Taisen is the Japanese words for War of the Trees. So it's basically the series that so Infinitale Chronicles is like Dungeons and Dragons, whereas the War of the Trees
Dungeons and
is like,
Dragons, but it's actually cool.
Well, thanks, man. Yeah, it's it started off as a role playing game system. It's just like Record of Lodos, and even to a degree, kind of like Vox, whatever Vox Machina or whatever the Critical Role guys like. But this I started back in the '90s, and it was a tabletop role-playing game sessions that were chronicled, hence the word chronicles, because Infinitale is the gaming system that I had created, and I'm looking forward to self-publishing that once I get this comic series, like almost like a historical primer to introduce you into this world, to make you actually care about the universe that you're entering into the actual game. But yeah, this is a combination of books 1 and 2, so it's over 160 pages. And it's all in black and white. So as you can see in that example there, it'll be read from right to left. And that word at the top, chikon, or attention,
Well, look at you, Mr. Fancy Pants.
So Disney. But
I just that was gibberish, but yeah.
No, so I'm hoping that when I go this route, I will be hoping to produce something a little more agile, where this will be something that I can put on Amazon afterwards or some other print-on-demand service, and I can get these out in relatively faster succession than I'm doing now. But the crowdfunding is where you're going to get the cream of the crop, white glove treatment. That's where you're going to get the full color version, and that will happen, once I've composed enough of these books. Yeah. So essentially what I'll be doing is releasing the manga in the black and white, trying to get them out as quickly as possible. And then every year or so, or a few years or whatever, when we can get them colored, produce the traditional full color book. So book 3 campaign, and 4 campaign and so on, and have that be in full color. And that'll be your white glove treatment. But if you want to get the news printed black and white, like standard manga, 5 inches by 7.5, something you could possibly pick off the shelf at Barnes and Noble, this would be the edition for you. And even though it is technically American, and if you really wanted to get into semantics, it could probably be called manhwa, because I'm Korean. So it's something.
I'm officially declaring it manhwa.
No, but oh my God. Yeah, I'm hoping that this is an experiment, because the campaign that this will be launched or released on will be the campaign for the traditional book 2, and this will just be an additional perk. So I'm not phasing out the full color. I'm not phasing out the traditional approach. I'm just experimenting and hoping that there's some possible leeway into getting a piece of that manga pie, getting a piece of that massive sales. And now, I mean, let's be honest, they're kicking our ass.
You capitalist pig.
Yes, I am. Boku wa kichikubehe. But no, yeah, it's who knows? This is an experiment. But if you already purchased book 1, you'll get a revision, or slightly, you'll get the grayscale version of book 1.
You literally changed 2 words so you can call it a new edition. What are you, a college textbook creator?
Well, I mean, the original book was 54 pages. Book 2 that will be coming out is over 114 pages. And when we get this manga edition, you'll be getting over 160 pages. And it will be, obviously of a lesser
value.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping, is at the end of the day, I want customers to have value.
Like shuffle around panels until okay, I got 160 pages.
No, well, because
I'm giving you crap.
Yeah. Well, book 2, one of the things that people are saying was, they're like, yeah, it's a very, for the $15 you're asking for, is a very short, 54 pages. And I'm like, 54 pages is huge. What are you talking about? And they're like, well, I read it in one sitting. And I'm like, well, that's kind of good. That means that you were, engaged for all 54 pages.
I mean, I literally sell Screecher for $10 and you get 20 pages. So I don't know what these people are talking about.
Well, I mean, what can we say? Oy vey. But I'm hoping that the second book, which will be over, like I said, 114 pages or so, that'll give you more value, than the previous campaign. So everybody that enjoyed the first book at full color, 54 pages, when they get to the second book, And I'm trying to keep costs down as much as I can. So it's not going to be double the price. I mean, obviously the page count is going to be more than double, but I don't want to double the price. But I want to make sure that you get your money's worth. And by doing so, I've added, quite a bit more so that it is the 114 pages. So you actually have a substantial book. You've waited 2 years for this thing. Consider it books 2A and 2B, or part 1 and part 2.
So what you're saying, it's double the pleasure, double the fun.
Yeah, and then on top of that, the twins are shilling it. But like on top of that, we actually went a step further.
And twins.
And well, we went a step further, and not only do you have a variant, you've heard of variant covers. Well, we actually have variant books. So it's the same story, but we have 2 different art teams working on it. Yeah, so you'll get a chance, an opportunity to look at it and be like, I like this art style better. I like the way these panels are laid out, or I like the way that this is told.
Well,
or I like this other one.
Actually, version 2 has a more refined art style, and the lines are crisper and more emotive.
Well, if you ever if you're ever interested in checking it out, you can head on over to our website at infinitechronicles.com. And if you go under book 2 here, you can actually preview
Chris,
the first 15 pages.
Drop the link in the private chat so I can post it.
Sure. All right. So here we go. So here's the team A. So you got the story for team A.
Oh dear God, you're going above and beyond, brother.
And here's the same exact book, same story, but it's now told by Team B. So depending on what your preference for the story, you get 2 different artistic visions of that same story. So yeah, it's an experiment as well, because I take feedback to heart. I mean, part of making a product for people is listening.
You want some feedback? Here, I'll give you some bloody feedback. Your book's fucking amazing, mate. I don't know why I went Australian for that.
It's fucking bonza. Appreciate it. But
it is literally the tits.
Yeah, that's right.
I love how we're speaking like Australians to like shill a Korean book. We are weird.
And you'll say,
professionals have standards.
All right. So if you like what you see here, and I don't know why you wouldn't, please check out Chris's site, Infantile Chronicles. Obviously, you can tell he puts way too much effort into this than he really needs to. So please toss a coin to your creator. Oh, value, thank you. Sorry.
Yeah, man. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to shout this out, because
dude, it's all good. It's like you said earlier. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. You've done a lot for me, so I have no problem letting you spend 10 minutes just advertising your book.
Sweet, man. Thanks.
All right, all you mother duckers. We're going to be wrapping up here in a second, but I would want to say I will be at Great Lakes Comic-Con, the winter show, up in Clinton Township, Michigan tomorrow. So if you want to meet me and harass me, tell me how bad Screecher is, feel free. But tomorrow I will also be starting up a new Let's Play. So I will be playing Pokemon Yellow. Joining me will, of course, be Nyx, and I'm sure he's going to be shipping everything. Also joining me is Lugsberg, the man in the chat who has like the awesome stuff. Hi, Lug. I can't wait. So yeah, that's going to be great. We did a test stream for it yesterday, and it worked out pretty well. So I can't wait. Yeah, thank you for joining us, everybody. We got a pretty consistent crowd here, so I do appreciate you all. So this has been Nick Gibson on the Phoenix Press, and remember, I can only show you the door. You're the ones to walk through it.